Dark Magician is the ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense. The deck in Duel Links has a variety of different playstyles thanks to the support and skills it has received over time. Although the deck is more playable than it was previously, it still has its struggles against very powerful decks and archetypes that can throw powerful boss monsters, unbreakable boards, or even lots of interruptions to play through. Is it possible to beat these powerhouses? In this series, we will be going through them one by one and breaking them down, finding their weaknesses and using them to our advantage. Welcome to Cast Out the Meta with Dark Magician. In today's episode, the archetype we're looking at is Unchained. This archetype debuted in the Destroyer of the Phantasm mini-box and doesn't require you to use a specific skill to play it, meaning that you can play the deck with or without a skill. Using a skill will increase the deck's power and potential. Examples of skills that can be used with Unchained are Fiend's Exchange, The Legend of the Heroes, and Link Dark Rays. So how does Unchained work? Unchained focuses on destroying their own cards in order to special summon more monsters, as well as using the opponent's monsters as link material in order to climb up into their strongest link monster, Unchained Abomination. In order to get to this monster, however, we need to start with the monsters that start the combos, the Unchained Twins. There are 3 different Unchained Twins monsters, Aruha, Rakia, and Sarama. All 3 of them each have an effect that allows them to destroy one card the player controls, with that same effect locking them into only special summoning fiend monsters for the rest of the turn. All 3 monsters also have an effect that lets them special summon an Unchained monster from the hand or deck if they're destroyed by a battle or card effect while on the field, except by a card effect of the same name. For example, if an Aruha destroys another Aruha, the trigger effect in the graveyard can't be activated. There are a couple of monsters that Unchained typically summon from the deck, with the 2 being Abominable Unchained Soul and Unchained Soul of Disaster. Abominable Unchained Soul has the ability to summon itself from the hand if any card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, with only one Abominable Unchained Soul being able to be special summoned per turn. And if it's special summoned, the player can discard one card in order to non-target destroy one card on the field. This serves both as interruption during their turn and your turn as well. Unchained Soul of Disaster, however, serves as a 3000 defense monster that you need to try to beat over, and if Unchained Soul of Disaster is destroyed by battle or card effect while on the field, it can target one Unchained monster in the graveyard and special summon it. It's more useful during the player's turn though, as they can use Disaster's effect to target a monster their opponent controls and use it to link summon an Unchained monster. Now what about their spells and traps? All of the Unchained spells and traps have the ability to special summon one Unchained monster from the deck if they were destroyed while they were set face down. If they're destroyed face up, the effect cannot be activated. Abomination's Prison adds one Unchained card from deck to hand. Wailing of the Unchained Souls allows them to target and destroy a card if they link summon an Unchained monster. Abominable Chamber of the Unchained special summons one Unchained monster from the hand or graveyard, and Escape of the Unchained allows the player to target one Unchained monster they control and one other card on the field and destroy both. Finally, we need to look at the extra deck monsters. The Link to Unchained Soul of Rage has a quick effect only during the opponent's main phase that allows it to target one special summon monster the opponent controls, to use both itself and the targeted monster as link material in order to link summon one Dark Link monster. The monster that is link summoned does not necessarily have to be an Unchained monster, meaning that they can link summon a monster like Nightmare Unicorn and disrupt you even further. The Link 3 Unchained Soul of Anguish is the typical link summon of choice though, as during their turn, they can target one monster the opponent controls and once again, link summon one Dark Link monster using both itself and the targeted monster as link material. Now one effect that both Rage and Anguish have in common is that if they're destroyed by a battle or card effect while on the field, they can target one Fiend monster in the graveyard and add it to their hand. Finally, we have the big Link 4 Unchained Abomination. Abomination has 3 different effect activation conditions. If one or more cards on the field are destroyed by card effect, except by Abomination's effect, one card on the field can be targeted and destroyed. When another monster is destroyed by a battle, one card on the field can be targeted and destroyed. And during each end phase, one card can be targeted and destroyed. That's 3 separate destruction effects on a single monster. Although they are once per turn, it can be quite easy for these effects to go off rapidly and start a chain reaction. So we've gone through a rundown of how Unchained works. Now how can Dark Magician beat it? There's a few weak spots with the Unchained cards themselves. If Unchained Twins Aruha is destroyed while in the player's hand, they will not benefit from the card being destroyed in the hand, as Aruha must be destroyed on the field in order to activate its graveyard trigger effect. Escape of the Unchained has to target 2 cards and requires both targets to stay on the field until it resolves. If either of the targets are no longer on the field by the time the card resolves, Escape of the Unchained will not destroy anything. Unchained Soul of Rage can't use its effect if you don't special summon a monster, so a Dark Magician that was normal summoned is safe from being used as link material. If Abominable Unchained Soul is special summoned while there's no cards in the Unchained player's hand, they will not get their non-targeting destruction effect. And finally, Unchained Abomination has no protection whatsoever, and no follow-up effects if it's destroyed by battle or card effect, so you're safe to beat over it or destroy it should it ever be summoned against you. In terms of what we have that can beat Unchained, Dark Magical Circle is our first option for removal, as Unchained do not like being banished and Circle can end up forcing the opponent to activate their card effects, so utilize the force activations as much as possible. For the Battle Chronicle players, Successor Soul's effect will not cause any of the Unchained graveyard effects to activate, as Successor Soul sends the targeted monster to the graveyard and Unchained monsters specifically need to be destroyed. The Great Double-Casted Caster is a good choice for a direct attack, which your opponent has to either get rid of it or negate its effects and force you to attack their monsters. For the Bane of Darkness players, Dark Cavalry and Diffusion Wave Motion is your best combo at wiping them all out without triggering any of their graveyard effects. It won't stop an Abominable Unchained Soul from being special summoned from the hand however, so you will need to keep track of what cards your opponent is drawing into and adding to their hand as much as possible. And lastly, Apprentice Illusion Magician combined with piercing damage can sometimes be enough against a singular monster, so be sure to check your maths before committing to it. In terms of staple cards that can be utilized, stealing the opponent's monsters with Crackdown or bouncing them back to the hand with Compulsory Evacuation Device can be quite the annoyance for our opponent. Same goes for Warning Point negating their monster's effects when a monster is summoned, or discarding Effect Veiler from your hand during the main phase of your opponent's turn to target one of their monsters and negate its effects. Or, if you're looking to outright stop them from playing, Silent Graveyard will negate every single effect that activates in the graveyard, which will stop this deck dead in its tracks. In conclusion, Unchained can be a difficult match if you have no alternative methods of dealing damage to your opponent or removing their cards without destroying them. Battling Unchained monsters can lead to many follow-up effects that will cause new Unchained monsters to take their place, and leave you in exactly the same situation as before, if not worse. Although Unchained are difficult to battle, they can be conquered if hit at the correct points of their combo, or hit in ways that do not allow their trigger effects to activate whatsoever. And that is all for today's video on beating the meta with Dark Magician. I hope this video helps provide you with some ideas and strategies that you can use in your Unchained matches. If you want to see more, make sure to show your support and subscribe for future episodes. With that being said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.